Welcome to the Managing ICT Sustainability Improvements Report. This assessment has four major components or four major tasks. The first one is the ICT Assets Report and Energy Footprint Analysis Report. Now, what we're going to do here, it is you will need to revise the energy audit that you have previously done, so that you may be able to draw some of the work already done and import into this assessment. So if you haven't done that, so it will be the reverse. If you do this subject first, then it will be the reverse. You can export from this one into the energy report some of the information that you have already done. So the purpose of this report is to introduce the reader to the targeted ICT infrastructure and analyze the organization's ICT asset energy footprint. Now, you do this by providing an overview of the targeted company and ICT infrastructure deployed, and you will then create an asset register and network diagram. The energy footprint analysis is then conducted on all identified ICT devices by determining its energy consumption in kilowatts and then calculating the CO2 emissions using the carbon neutral calculator. Information produced in previous assignments within this course can be used in this section. As I stated earlier, if you have done the energy audit, this component or task 1, it will be easier for you to do because you can import the calculations already made, provided that they were correct and that you have received good feedback from your teacher, and that energy report, you achieved competency in it, so that you don't import wrong figures into this report. So second task is the ICT sustainability strategy and policies. Now, the purpose of this report is to develop ICT sustainability strategies and policy to determine the company sustainability position and define compliance to environmental standards. Now, you will research industry standards and then benchmark the targeted ICT infrastructure against these standards. You will then create environmental policies and procedures that takes into consideration the research and analysis done and present your findings to the company stakeholders to ensure their engagement to continuous improvement in a sustainable environment. And task number 3 is the technical and behavioral improvements report. Now, what you do in this report is that the purpose of this report is to formulate technical and behavioral solutions to improve ICT sustainability. In the technical report, you will propose 3 improvements to the ICT infrastructure previously stated and defined in section 1 of this assignment. For the behavioral improvements report, you will produce a green skills presentation normally posted on the company intranet and incorporated in the operational and procedure manual, or OPM, that will assist stakeholders in the participation of sustainability improvements. The presentation can be seen as a forerunner for the mandatory Green Skills online course for the company's employees. Now, monitoring and evaluating sustainability data report. The purpose of this report is to ensure continuous sustainability improvements by analyzing and evaluating sustainability data. This report, you will review the work done in task 1 and task 3 of this report and then evaluate and compare the sustainability data obtained by this previously obtained report. Now, you conclude the report with a monitoring plan that provides a way forward for continuous improvement in sustainability. Now, you will notice that in doing this assessment, you already done a lot of hard work in the energy audit if you have done it. You will be able to import the ideas and the calculations made and the informations provided in the energy audit customized for managing ICT sustainability improvement reports. I hope you will enjoy doing it. So this terminates the introduction, and then we will move on with each and every task. In order to complete task 1, you are advised to view all these files listed in this column as reading material, where you will find the valuable information that it is required to complete this assessment task 1. Also, as I said in the introduction, you feel free to import data and information that you have already created in the energy audit if you are doing this subject following the energy audit. Otherwise, you will export from here into the energy audit if you do the energy audit later. And for task 1.1, you need to provide a company overview. You can work on the same company as you have worked on other assignments for this course, or you can select a different company if you will find the need to do so. So you need to provide an overview of the company reason of being. What do they do? How they generate income? You tell us a little bit more about the company and what the mission statement, that the company goals or objectives. You need to describe what this company you are working on, what they want to do, what they want to achieve, how they see themselves to be, and how they want to project their image to their stakeholders. In 1.2, you're going to provide an ICT infrastructure overview. So obviously, if you have already done this in another assignment, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Remember that in the energy audit, I have used this infrastructure as a sample. So you can continue to use the one that you have used for your for previous assignments, and of course you can import the information that you have already created, customized for this particular assignment. In here, you need to provide an overview of the current ICT infrastructure. Your discussion is to provide a general description of what the company has in terms of ICT infrastructure, how it works. For example, do they have a DMZ deployment, standard workstation configuration, deployment of Windows Update, Windows deployment service, Exchange servers, web servers, and so on. And you produce the network diagram that provides a visual representation of the ICT infrastructure that you have shown here in 1.2. So far you may have created a lot of information already in previous assignments. So therefore, this section here, it will be not so difficult to do, because if you have already created the network diagram, you don't have to reinvent it, just bring it back in, right? And also the carbon the 1.4 is the asset register. Now this is totally new to this assignment because you need to customize the fixed asset register template which is provided on TAFE Online, and or other suitable templates of your choice created on and you create an asset register for the ICT infrastructure that lists the ICT devices is described in 1.2. Remember, you have listed, but now you create an asset register and you list all the assets, all right, and access control system, surveillance system, lighting devices used to illuminate the ICT infrastructure, motor vehicle used for this department, etc. This is a sample of ICT devices. This is a Cisco router. This is a network switch. This is a rack-mounted server. This is a specialized server for web servers and other types of servers. This is a desktop PC. desktop monitors, printers, photocopiers, fax machines, um, access control systems. As you can see, this is a system that will use let's say like the proxy card, the swipe card. When you get onto into your premise, instead of using a key, you use a swipe card. And then you have in here the CCTV cameras, air conditioners, UPS cars, and energy smart lighting device. And you also have a sample network diagram that you can follow, but if you already done it in a previous assignment, you just copied it across, and your teacher will recognize it, and also encouraged you to not to reinvent the wheel, but you can customize information that you already produced and submitted into another assignment. Right. The other thing that you will need is the fixed asset register template. Unless you do have your own template, and you can actually use a template such as this to record all the assets that the computer has got. Okay, so it has to be well defined. If you need more information about asset register, well, there is the asset management file on TAFE Online, so you will need to study that one and maybe consider during the Adobe Connect sessions that you have had with your teachers. Well, the next to this is the carbon footprint table. The carbon footprint table is using the template that you will find in Appendix A of this document, and where you list all the identified devices that you have identified in section 1.4. So everything that you have added to the asset register, you will have to create a carbon footprint. Right now we're going to look at the template. You will find that this which is in Appendix A. So let's go to Appendix A, and there you are. Now this is a very similar to the walkthrough energy audit report that you have done. You can import that data into here, and then you will be able to complete it. So you type in the ICT device, let's say if it is a router, what was the phase electricity consumption in kilowatts. You will have to find that out. You Google, and you find it out through documentations. And then how many hours this is in operation, how many numbers are deployed of the same device, and what is the daily consumption. You calculate using the carbon footprint calculator the daily CO2 emission in tons, then the annual energy consumption, and then the annual emissions in ton. Remember, you're going to show all the calculations made. How did you achieve the calculations that you have reported here? So I don't just want the output. On the bottom here, you create all the you show all the calculations that you have made, and how did you achieve the result that you have done. So let's go back to what we have done here into the carbon footprint calculator. So you should do really the energy audit before you do this subject, and your teacher will probably remind you of this. So there are a few please note here to the right, and the first one is: it is essential that you study the reading material suggested for this assignment section as indicated in the column 2 task name. Here, that's the column. And B, the completeness and quality of your relevance of your discussion will determine the assessment of your work. And then, if you are working on an ICT infrastructure discussed in previous assignment, for the 10346, I think is the ICA70211 that you're actually doing course, you are allowed to transport previously produced information into this section. And the same thing it goes for the energy audit. If you have produced the energy audit in this course, then you are allowed to transport those calculations already made into here, and you complete the point 1.5 by using the template in Appendix A, as I have shown it to you. And we now move to point number 2. And welcome to task number 2. Well, you had an easy ride if you've done the energy audit with task number 1, because most of the calculations you had already done them, you had already worked on a same ICT infrastructure, you have imported them into this assignment, customized them, got your feedback from your teacher, and if everything went okay and you fixed it up, whatever things they may be needed, you are now in a very serious new chapter or new task for this course. You will need to do an industry standards report and a benchmarking report, environmental policies and procedures, and stakeholder presentation on an ICT sustainability. So there is a lot of work to do, but as a future ICT professionals, or those who already sit in the job and you are just doing this for your qualifications, you will still have a lot to learn and a lot to do. So let's see the files which you need to get familiar with, the information you need to study, which we have provided. Remember that this is a research-based project. It's project-driven, but it's research-based. And we have facilitated this research for you by compiling pre-researched material and published on TAFE Online. The files that you will need access to are the asset management PDF, the benchmarking PDF, the developing policies and procedures PDF, the ISO 14001 environmental standard PDF, the AS/NZS ISO standard, and the stakeholder PDF. So now what we need to do, it is to attack the first 2.1, which is the industry standards. Now you notice here on please note to the right that in order to complete section 2.1 you will need to review the ISO 14001 environmental standard management system and the AS/NZS ISO 14001 2004. Okay, so let's have a look at both of these environmental standards. The first one, the AS/NZS, and you have here a full file which has been published and downloaded from their website for you to start getting familiar with it. And there is a table of content that you can refer to, and you can go to all the information that it's in here. And the second file, which is the 14001 environmental standards, that's ISO 14001. Again, it is actually the same standard, same ISO standard, but there are two different files which they will contain general information and different information from one to the other that will make your research much easier to complete. So both files, as I said, are published on TAFE Online. So then let's look at what needs to be done. You need to provide an introduction of the AS/NZS ISO 14001 2004 environmental standards. Include a diagram as required, and review these two files and conduct further research as required. Remember, it's all going to be original work. You can't copycat anything from the files, and you need to provide just an introduction, and you need to tell what the standard is about. why should we comply with these standards? Why would you recommend the case study company or the company you are working with to adopt these standards? Okay, so you don't have to write a lot of information about this, but you can do this in point form in the nice beautifully spaced paragraph that will really address the industry standard issue. Next, you do a benchmarking report. You need to consult the benchmarking.pdf, which is available on the TAFE online, and you on any system. So let's start again. You consult the file, any sustainability documents available from the targeted company, that is the company you have targeted, any other files that they may have on their library, or you will have to conduct a further research is required to produce the benchmarking report. Now, what is a benchmark? It is not discussed into this assignment tutorial. You have a file and they will be discussed during Adobe Connect sessions. Of the company sustainability positions, the company sustainability position in the against the standard. So what you need to do, you gotta describe. You already described the standard up here in 2.1, but now you need to say how your company complies with these standards. Now, that not necessarily this company will want to match against the 14001 standard. They may want to match against some other standards. However, here you had to do the research on the AS/NZS ISO 14001 standard. So therefore now the targeted company, how does it compare with this standard? What are the shortcomings? Right? You need to discuss what the company is not doing and what it needs to do to comply with this standard. So the discussion can be done in point form or in short paragraph. You don't have to attack the whole standard, but you have to provide enough information that shows that you have read the files, that you have done further research, you understand what the targeted company is about, and so therefore by reading the information you provide, the teacher can come to the conclusion, well, the student knows what he's talking about. He has done the research, he has read the file, he has already worked on this company perhaps in a previous assignment. He has already done a thorough assessment of this company because he has looked at all the asset management, all the tasks that you have done in task 1, and now you are providing a benchmark of your company against this standard. We then move on to point 2.3, environmental policy and procedures. Now you will need to assist the online lecture for the developing policies and procedures, or read the document on TAFE online. If you are already a professional, you know what the policies and procedure documents are. You probably can consult these policies on your intranet or go into the company's operational and procedure manuals, and you will see a lot of procedures. Also, there is a template which is provided in Appendix B on which you can complete this point. And let me explain and qualify this point further. You create a policies and procedure document for the targeted company that addresses the electronic waste management. The policy and procedure document must address what is to be done by stakeholders that ensure sustainable environmental compliance to energy standards. You can use the template provided in Appendix B. Okay, so what you need to do now? Here it is talking not OPM policies and procedures in general, but very specific about the electronic waste management. Right? So what is electronic waste management? How do you dispose of your old computers or your dead computers? right? So there is a lot to talk about on all of this, and it's not the scope to discuss about electronic waste management per se within this assessment tutorial. Right? You will have to assist the online lectures, or you will have to read all of the files which are listed here and make further further research is required in order for you to complete a competent policies and procedure on electronic waste management. But I want to take it to Appendix B first, so we will know what this Appendix B is all about. This was Appendix A, and now this is Appendix B. As you can see, the policy areas, it will be electronic waste management. You will give a title, you will give it an effective date, you will give an approved date and revision date, would give a subject, the number, the page number, and approved by whom. Now this template, right, was created by the Rethink group. You can visit the website and you can see other templates and other explanations that they may have, right? So therefore, by using the template and by putting together all the informations that you have created, you can complete the point 2.3. Now in point 2.4, you need to do a stakeholder presentation on ICT sustainability. Now here you review the work done thus far and in this assessment, and prepare a PowerPoint presentation. You prepare the PowerPoint presentation, and you will be uploading the presentation. It's part of task number 2. So your teacher can view the presentation. All he has to do is to view the slides anyway, in order to assess your competency. And normally this PowerPoint presentation is to be posted on the company intranet that engages internal stakeholders like the internal employees, management at every company level, by promoting the environmental policies and procedures developed in point 2.3. The presentation must address the following: introductions to the equipment and life cycle management policy, compliance to AS/NZS 14001 standard, how the company performs against the standard, and introductions of the new environmental policies and procedure document produced in step 2.3. So in other words, after you have completed all of these, then you will do the PowerPoint presentation on all the material that you have produced within task number 2. And when done, you upload this for feedback to your teacher, and then after you have satisfied that you have achieved a competent component for this assignment, you just incorporate it into the final versions and upload it to be marked by your teacher in order they can assess you in a competent manner. We now move on to task number 3.